You know, the more video game movies that come out without any of them being good, the more worried I get. I was never a huge fan of Ratchet and Clank growing up. I was more of a Spyro Crash girl exclusively, but I do have a really strange memory of loading up my friend's copy of it and just sort of running around the first level as Ratchet, just like collecting stuff. I don't think I ever actually played the game, but I think that helps because it means I don't have as much of a nostalgic viewpoint to try and see good in the film or anything to really base my opinion of, so let's just go for it. Brief summary, and I do mean brief because this plot just kind of follows the generic space adventure hero story. Evil people want to blow up planets, they need people to stop them. That's literally the plot of this film, that's all there is to it. And I don't think this is a bad film. There are worse, like, animated films, there are worse video game films, but this film is nothing special. It was just kind of boring. I've seen pretty much everything in this film before, in some way or form. There was one scene in particular where I felt like I was watching the pod race from The Phantom Menace, and that's never good. And then there was another section not long after that where I felt like I was watching the end of Attack of the Clones. It was just trying to kind of be an animated Star Wars, I felt. There were so many moments where I felt like the soundtrack was going to go into the Darth Vader theme, like dun 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 dun. And then it didn't. I just expected it to go full Vader several times. And for a film called Ratchet and Clank, there really wasn't much Ratchet and Clank in this film. There was so much about like the warriors and the really kind of annoying, cliche, typical villains. I really didn't care at all about the villains or who they were or their motivation. And I feel like they tried to make me care about who these people were towards the end, and it was just too far gone for me to actually start caring, so I didn't. I feel like the film only really picked up in the last act, and by then I had lost pretty much all of my interest in trying to save the plot of the film from its simplicity and cliche-ness. And I just needed more of the oomph all the way through, because the end was fairly okay good, but it was literally just the end. Nothing else was particularly great about this film. I just wanted more Ratchet and Clank, because those characters, they're so funny, they're so adorable, I love the dynamic between them, and there just wasn't much of it at all. The bits that were there were my favourite parts of the film. The dynamic and the interaction between Ratchet and Clank were really, really cute. And there just was hardly any of it. And I wanted it to be funnier. I was hoping there would be at least something that kind of made me laugh, and there really wasn't. And there were a couple kids sat behind me. They didn't laugh the whole way through. I didn't hear a single laugh in that theatre, to be honest. There just wasn't much to really redeem it from its cliche and simple structure. From what I've heard though, it's quite true to the game it follows. It's kind of complex. Like, it follows the original Ratchet and Clank, which they've now remade. So this film is kind of based, I guess, on the remade version, or the game is based on the film, which is based on a game. It's really weird, and I can't help but think that making this movie was sort of just a way to promote the revamping of the Ratchet and Clank series, which I think is kind of ironic if you need to like delve into the past to revamp your series. It's not very creative, is it? So I felt like this was just kind of a massive marketing scheme, and I'm not sure how well it's paid off. It just wasn't a very good film. Like, it was alright. It was alright. I don't think it deserves the absolute battering it's getting from critics. I don't think it's that bad, but it's not very good. I think I'd give it a 5 out of 10. I think, because that kind of counts it as average, and I think it is average for a kids film, and for a film in general. There's just anything that was slightly redeeming about it, whether it be Ratchet and Clank together and their scenes, or the scenes were really pretty. Like, the CG was really, really, really nice. And then they shoved most of the story on a really grey, ugly spaceship. I just wanted to see more of the planets, even if it did just kind of like a revamped Tatooine. I still wanted to see it rather than just this clunky grey spaceship that just kind of looked like every other spaceship you'd ever see ever. I don't know, just kind of average, I guess. Not terrible, but not much good either. I'm really hoping we start getting good video game movies soon, because there are so many great video games that they've actually planned to make films of, and I don't want to see them torn to shreds. I mean, we've got Warcraft around the corner, which, to be fair, I don't really care much about the source material, and then we've got Assassin's Creed at the end of this year, which again, I'm not a massive Assassin's Creed player, but we're getting new Lara Croft film starring Alicia Vikander, and I just hope that is good. I just want these things to start being good, because they've never been good, and it's been so long, and I genuinely don't understand how with such good source material and such a clear structure on how to make it work, they just don't. And I don't understand it, and I want to start understanding why they can be good, because so far we haven't seen the evidence of it. I was really kind of cautiously optimistic that Ratchet & Clank could be a diamond in the rough, and it wasn't. So, till next time, video game movies.